And a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Meha Bhardwaj-Alter and this is Game On. It's Friday and there's a lot happening in the world of sports. Novak Djokovic, he's out of the Australian Open. It's Arina Sabalenka versus Zheng Qinwen in the women's singles final. And Charles Leclerc stays with Ferrari, but we're going to begin with India versus England. At the end of day 2 in Hyderabad, India are in a match-winning position after taking a lead of 175 runs. From an overnight 119 for 1, the home team scored 421 for 7 to all but bat England out of this test match. With KL Rahul and Ravindra Jadeja scoring half-centuries, England's spinners continued to leak runs and India remained in control of the match despite most of their wickets falling to aggressive shots rather than quality bowling. If Rohit Sharma played a sloppy shot before stumps on day 1, then today saw as many as 6 Indian batters throw away their wickets, starting with Yashasvi Jaiswal in the first over of the day as he chipped back a return catch to Joe Root. The procession of wickets falling to sloppy shots or fielders stationed in the deep began. Shubman Gill gave Tom Hartley his first test wicket when he chipped a catch to mid-wicket. Shreyas Iyer made 35 before he slogged the leg spin of Rehan Ahmed to deep mid-wicket. And KL Rahul, after batting so well for his 86, hit a half-tracker from left-arm spinner Hartley to deep mid-wicket as well. The key, however, was that Rahul and Iyer were able to put on a handy partnership that chipped away at England's lead before Rahul and Jadeja overcame the loss of Iyer in a stand that took the score closer to 300. Rahul played the England spinners very well. He hit 8 fours and 2 sixes in his innings of 86, which made his dismissal look rather feeble. A short ball from Hartley that should have been swatted away for a boundary was instead pulled straight to Rehan Ahmed at mid-wicket. The good thing for India was that by this time Jadeja was settled at the crease and he moved to his own 50 in the company of KS Bharat, who scored his highest score in Test cricket. The pair had a few close moments, but with England skipper Ben Stokes having used up all his available reviews inside 14 overs yesterday, part-time spinner Joe Root was left to rue his bad luck. However, Root eventually had his man when on 41, KS Bharat missed a sweep and was adjudged LBW. Moments later, Ravichandran Ashwin was run out in a comical manner to leave India 7 down. But Akshar Patel combined with Ravindra Jadeja then put up a partnership of 63 to take India past 400. Now, if there was one Indian batter who looked the most composed at the crease on day 2 in Hyderabad, it was KL Rahul. Playing just his 6th test match at home since 2017, Rahul scored 86 of 123 deliveries with 8 fours and 2 sixes. Unlike the Rahul one saw during last year's BGT series, where he failed to spin on each occasion, he was dismissed while averaging under 13. This version was confident and quick with his footwork, and the way that Rahul cut and drove the ball into the gaps would have provided him a lot of confidence after an inconsistent run at the test level. Given the chance to bat at number 4 spot with Virat Kohli out of the current squad, Rahul's application to the England spinners was solid and he ran singles very well too. And he never shied away from hitting the bat deliveries for boundaries, which made his dismissal just 14 runs short of what would have been his 9th test century seem somewhat haphazard. Given that the tea break was not too far off and he was the last recognized batter. But what Rahul's 86 has done is ensure that when Virat Kohli does return for the 3rd test match of the series, it will not be his name that will be up for debate. Now, India and England are also engaged in an unofficial test that's going on in Ahmedabad, where India A have tightened the noose around England Lions in the 4-day match. On the 3rd and the penultimate day of the match, hosts India A appear well on course for an innings victory. England Lions were dismissed for just 152 runs on the opening day. India A established a massive 341 runs first innings leads thanks to centuries by Devdutt Padikkal and Sarfraz Khan. Padikkal and Abhimanyu Ishwaran had taken India past the Lions total of 152. Ishwaran then departed after scoring 58 as India lost their first wicket at 162. Padikkal went on to score 105 runs of only 126 deliveries and he slammed 14 fours in his innings. Rinku Singh, a late addition to the team, couldn't open his account. Sarfaraz, waiting for an India call for long, again served a reminder to the selectors with his knock of 161 runs of only 160 balls. The Mumbai batter hit 18 fours and 5 sixes. He was engaged in a 169-run partnership with Washington Sundar, who played a patient knock of 57 runs of 132 deliveries. India A scored 493 runs in their first innings and trailing by 341 runs in the first innings. The England Lions top order also collapsed in their second innings. Now, moving on to the other test match that is going on in Brisbane. Who could have predicted that West Indies, having recovered from 64 for 5 to make 311 in their first innings, would have host Australia 24 for 4 in the match on the second morning at the Gabba? Well, that is what transpired on another exciting day in Brisbane, which saw West Indies go from an overnight 266 for 9 to 311, thanks to the debutant Kevin Sinclair's 50 and a handy 32 from Alzarri Joseph, before Kemar Roach took 3 wickets in no time to stun the Aussies. In his first test match, Sinclair hit 5 fours and 1 6 as he put on valuable runs on with Joseph, whose 32 came off 22 balls and included 7 fours. West Indies were bowled out for 311. And their day got better in quick time. Australia lost 4 wickets in 6 overs. And at one point, it looked like they were in trouble. Marnus Labuschagne was gone, courtesy a blinder from a catch from Sinclair. Mitchell Marsh, he hit a few boundaries. This is after their openers had departed. He played a cameo of 21 off 20, which ended when he was hurried by a ball from Alzarri Joseph. But from here, wicketkeeper Alex Carey counter-attacked with an innings of 65 from 49 balls, which dominated a stand of 106 with Khwaja that rescued Australia from 54 for 5. The left-handed Carey appeared intent on hitting his way out of trouble, and he hit 9 fours and 1 6 in an innings that came out at a strike rate of 132. But he also enjoyed a massive slice of luck on 8 when a ball from Shamar Joseph beat Carey's bat and clipped the top of off stump, only for the ball to somehow stay in its groove. Had Carey been out, the score would have been 72 for 6. What that dramatic collapse did was put the onus on opener Usman Khwaja to shun any extravagance and bat out time in his typically patient manner. And the veteran batter just did that. He reached his 50 of 102 balls. Carey was eventually out when he hit a ball from Shamar Joseph to deep square leg. Mitchell Starc, he fell to Alzarri Joseph on the stroke of tea to leave Australia 161 for 7 and still 150 runs behind the West Indies. In the last session, however, Australian skipper Pat Cummins dug deep with Khwaja to get the score past 200. They lost Khwaja for 75, but Cummins continued with the tail, and to everybody's surprise then, Australia declared at 289 for 9. Talk about making this test match even more interesting. The aggression by the Australian team paid dividends when they got the wicket of Tej Naren Chandrapal on the last ball before stumps, leaving West Indies at 13 for 1. So this test match, this is day 2 of this test match, and we've already seen so many twists and turns. Talking about turns, there's been a U-turn in the Shoaib Malik match-fixing saga. Hours after reports started doing the rounds that Shoaib Malik's contract had been terminated by Bangladesh Premier League team Fortune Barishal due to concerns over the no balls he bowled against the Khulna Tigers, Shoaib Malik now has issued a statement clarifying his stance. Earlier, the report suggested that the owner of Fortune Barishal on a private channel had suggested that Malik bowling 3 no balls in an over should be investigated by the anti-corruption unit, and that it seemed weird for an off-spinner to bowl 3 no balls in an over. But now that owner, Miznur Rahman, seems to have backtracked from his initial position. Posting a video of Rahman on his social media account, the Pakistani all-rounder clarified the whole situation. He said, "I would like to address and dismiss the recent rumors circulating about my playing position with Fortune Barishal. I had a thorough discussion with our captain Tamim Iqbal and we mutually planned the way forward. I had to leave Bangladesh for a pre-committed media engagement in Dubai, I want to make it clear that I strongly refute these baseless rumors. It is crucial for everyone to verify information before believing and spreading it. Falsehoods can harm reputations and create unnecessary confusion. Let's prioritize accuracy and rely on credible sources to ensure a clear understanding of the facts. Now, this is what he'd put as a statement. Listen in to what the franchise owner, Miznur Rahman, had to say.
শোয়েব মালিককে নিয়ে অনেক ধোঁয়াশা হচ্ছে কদিন যাবতই, 2-3 দিন যাবত, বাট এটা টোটালি আসলে ভুল একটা তথ্য। আমরা কোনো নিউজ চ্যানেলকে বা কেউ কি কোনো ইনফরমেশন আমরা দিইনি। খেলায় খেলতে গিয়ে হার জিত হতেই পারে, এটা ডিফারেন্ট স্টোরি, বাট শোয়েব মালিক হি প্লে হিজ লেভেল বেস্ট। আমরা কাউকে কমপ্লেইনও করি না এবং আমরা তার সাথেও কথা বলি না, এবং তার সাথেও কথা বলি না। দুটো ম্যাচ চলে গেছে। সো মানে আজকে এসে অনেক মিডিয়া আমাকে ফোন করছে, যেটা আমার কাছে খুব ভালো লাগছে না। সো দ্যাট দ্য রিজন আমি মেসেজটা ফেস করতেছি যে শোয়েব মালিক কোনোভাবেই আমাদের কাছ থেকে তার কোনো কমপ্লেইন নেই।
On to Australian Open, and Novak Djokovic is indeed human. Jannik Sinner finally became the first player in 6 years to defeat the world number 1 at the Australian Open. That's right, the world number 4 Italian beat Djokovic despite missing a match point 6-1, 6-2, 6-7, 6-3 to usher in a new era at the Australian Open. Sinner, who had not dropped a single set the whole tournament, broke Djokovic early on to lead 2-love in the first set. Nothing was working for Djokovic, with routine shots landing in the net or out of the court. Sinner then broke him again to lead 5-1 and wrapped up the first set with just over half an hour gone. The Serb was unable to make a comeback in the second set as well, with more unforced errors helping Sinner break 2-1 and then break him twice in that second set, first at 2-1 and then finally winning that set 6-2. The third set saw Djokovic serve better than he'd done in the match, pushing the set into a tiebreaker and held his nerve to win the tiebreaker 8-6. But Sinner pressed on in the fourth and quickly re-established control in Rod Laver Arena, quelling any repeats of the 2002 Wimbledon quarterfinal when Djokovic came back from 2 sets down to beat him. After missing out on 3 break points to start the set, the Italian broke from 40-love to lead 3-1. He held after 2 deuces to consolidate and later served out the match from 15-30, sealing the milestone victory with an untouchable forehand, his 31st winner of the match. Sinner's victory has ended Djokovic's winning streak of 2,195 days at the Australian Open, and in doing so, Sinner has become the first player from Italy to reach the final of the Australian Open. And we also have the women's lineup for the final. World number 2 Aryna Sabalenka will face Zheng Qinwen of China in the final. Belarusian Sabalenka ousted Coco Gauff in a tense encounter, beating the 4th seed 7-6, 6-4 to return to the Australian Open final. Meanwhile, her opponent in the final, Zheng, outclassed Diana Yastremska 6-4, 6-4 on the way to her maiden final. Zheng is the second Chinese player to reach the final. The 21-year-old follows in the footsteps of her idol, Lina, who won her second Grand Slam title at the Australian Open exactly 10 years ago. Sabalenka, 25-year-old, is bidding to win her second Australian Open title and 14th career title overall. She is riding a 13-match win streak in Melbourne, the longest streak since Victoria Azarenka in 2012 to 2013. If she wins on Saturday, she will become the first woman to successfully defend her Australian Open title since Azarenka. She will also join Iga Swiatek as the only 2 players aged 25 and under to win multiple majors. Sabalenka and Zheng, they've faced off just once in their careers. That came in the quarterfinals of the US Open last fall. Sabalenka won that encounter 6-1, 6-4 on her way to the final. We're going to slip into a short break. When we come back, lots more on this show, so stay with us.
हमारी नारी शक्ति को सशक्त करने से ही देश सशक्त होने वाला है।
हर महीने महिलाओं को 1500 रुपए प्रति माह दिलवाया जाएगा।
What Nitish Kumar did to provide cycle to girls, so they could safely, quickly move out of the house, go to school and quickly come back, ching, 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 ching.
माँ अन्नपूर्णा तू ही, माँ अन्नपूर्णा है तू ही वीणा वादनी, हे शक्ति स्वरूपा जगदम्बा, हे नारी तू नारायणी.
News is now content. Just stream it. Download the world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
On to Formula One. Charles Leclerc will stay at Ferrari for years to come after the Italian Formula One team announced a contract extension on Thursday. The 26-year-old Monaco-born driver's previous deal was due to expire at the end of the year. The deal is likely to take Leclerc into the sport's new engine era that starts in 2026, assuring some continuity for the sport's oldest and the most successful team, whose other driver, Spaniard Carlos Sainz, remains unsigned for 2025.
I feel good. I feel happy. This is the place where I want to be. This dream of being part of this team started when I was 3.5 years old, that I watched the first race in Monaco, searching for the red car and dreaming of being a Formula One driver for Ferrari one day. And this dream partly came true in 2019. And today we are announcing that I'm signing for more years, which is an incredible honor for me to be part of this team that now became a family, because since 2016 I joined the Ferrari Drivers Academy first. Ferrari believed in me and helped me to get a place in Formula One. And then in the second year I was in Ferrari, which I'm still here. It's just incredible to be representing those colors all around the world, because we've got so much support. I just feel very, very lucky, and I cannot wait to be back in the car already, hopefully to bring many more victories in the future. Now we are continuing the story, which I am so incredibly happy of. And my target is obviously to bring back Ferrari to the top of the World Championship. To win a championship with Ferrari is my ultimate dream. And I'll do absolutely everything in order for this to happen together.
With the 33rd edition of the Olympic Games just 6 months away, Paris 2024 President Tony Estanguet spoke on a number of issues ranging from the Russian and Belarusian athletes' participation to security concerns. Listen in.
The Olympic movement has a goal to contribute towards building a peaceful and better world by educating youth through sport without discrimination of any kind. The Olympic spirit requires mutual understanding with a spirit of friendship, solidarity and fair play. Paris 2024 Olympic Games President Tony Estanguet believes that the Games might not help solve armed conflicts, but can certainly pacify relations and open the door for dialogue.
It's hard to know 6 months down the line whether things are going to get worse or calmer. You have to stay in your place, not think that games are a magic wand that will solve all the problems and armed conflicts in our world, but with a deep conviction that they have a tendency to pacify relations and leave a space for dialogue.
The Olympic truce has been violated only 3 times in the modern history of the Games. All 3 violations have been committed by the Russian Federation, including the most recent breach coming in 2020 after the invasion of Ukraine. Sports authorities have been criticized for allowing some Russian and Belarusian athletes to compete in this year's Olympics, although the athletes from the 2 nations can take part as neutrals without flags, emblems or anthems.
They decided that under certain conditions, Russian and Belarusian athletes could take part. No anthems, no flags, no delegation. So their delegations are very small. We are talking about a few athletes, a few dozen athletes as opposed to a few hundred for a country like that. They are difficult decisions, but ones which allow us to find a solution so that athletes aren't sanctioned when they shouldn't be in a situation like this. I think it's quite healthy.
Estanguet said all athletes taking part in the Games should be guaranteed safety and respect, but the Olympics could not be expected to provide solutions to global conflicts.
We are taking a very strict approach to all the delegations, with the prefecture of police and the state working with the intelligence services. And there's international cooperation too from the different services to share the information and guarantee the security of the 200 delegations who are going to take part in the games. It's the case for Israel. It's the case for all delegations. I've been to games and we know that this is a delegation that, given what happened at the Munich Games in a particular, is extremely closely watched and accompanied to guarantee its security at the time of the games.
The security budget for the Paris 2024 Games has been estimated at around 300 million euros, but the actual spending is likely to be much higher. The organizers are fearing demonstrations and processions during the Games.
Well, that's it on Game On. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye.
Pakistani spy agency ISI's sinister plan to target India. Training women to honey trap top civil and military officials. Counter honey trapping ops initiated by India. But gullible victims still caught in the web. Top military intelligence experts break down the web of deception. Colonel Hani Bakshi explains the phenomena of honey trap.
जहाँ पे भी आपको लगेगा, उनको लगेगा कि there is a person who is susceptible to women, who's making a lot of women friends on the social media. That is where they will make a spoof account and then start luring the person.
Colonel Pavitran Rajan decodes the psyche of the victim and the predator.
But when you go up the chain, no one enforces it to people at the top. That disciplinary regime and the security regime is not enforced at the top. And they usually have a public profile where it is much more easier to approach that person.
A News 9 special on how modern technology has added teeth to the ancient spying tactic.
Our story takes you inside Pakistan's honey trap machine.
This and more, streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus. Download now.
Currently, the industry is facing a lot of challenges as far as demand is concerned. Basically, the US markets has slowed down because of high inflation.
So obviously, diamonds being a dream product, something which doesn't have a utility value or is seen as a luxury. So that obviously goes off your shopping list. That's the first item that will go off your shopping list, especially in recessionary trends.
That lab-grown diamonds are not mined, and they do away with the entire mining. So they save up on all the environmental damage that is associated with mining, and of course, the mining cost, which is why they're even more affordable.
People that is impacted by all these recessions are the artisans, are the people who work in this industry, right? But I think lab-grown diamond has allowed them to actually use their skills in the same product.
This and more, streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus. Download now.
वर्ष 2070 तक भारत नेट जीरो का लक्ष्य हासिल करेगा.
There's certainly wall of capital coming into the clean tech, climate tech space, not just in India but across the world.
This and more, streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus. Download now.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए